Starting soon screen. Oh, nope, it's fixed. I mean, that's why we tell people to show up early on first games. Oh, Right. We've been on starting soon for 5 minutes. Are we ready to go? All right, going live in five, four, three, two.
Of Gossamer. I'm Steph. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be your keeper for the evening. Real quick, I'd like to give thanks to Stolen Fires for hosting the stream and to all my players who will be joining us tonight. With that said, could you all please introduce yourselves?
Hi everyone, I am Amy, she, her. Tonight I'll be playing Richard Dick Dashing, aka Sure Shot. The costume will make sense terribly soon. I'm going to soon be running a game here on Soul Fire's Community Spirits, a Wraith the 20th anniversary game about ghost fighting gentrification. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. I'll be playing Call Jaggard. Thanks for being here.
Hello, everyone. I am Erin, pronouns she, they, fay. I'll be playing Hornby, the factotum, pronouns she, her.
And I am Rachel. Hello. I will be playing Neve. We are both she, her.
Thank you very much. Now, before we get started, some content warnings for the stream include murder, body horror, dark sexual themes, erotic sensuality, foul language, blasphemy, witchcraft, defiling graves and corpses. In addition to those, our currently active and upcoming threats introduce insects, cannibalism, Victorian era asylums, potentially unhealthy family dynamics, gore, drug use or abuse, and child labor. Now, if we could please have a recap of our last session.
Sorry. Right, I do that, don't I?
No worries.
Somewhere, a man has been transformed into a gigantic bug. His partner has gone to Hargrave House for help, and Hornby decides to take it upon herself to investigate the problem. Elsewhere, Neve has been ducking out of the house early each morning, staying away, to the point where it's been affecting her duties. Dick would rather not deal with the bug right now, so he decides to follow her. However, he wasn't expecting her to be here. This isn't a fancy spa bathhouse. It's where poor people can get a good wash in. Neve lazily swims back and forth in a Victorian bathing dress, her coat on top of her. Dick finds her here, purely overdressed in his day coat and cravat. Neve invites him to come swim with her, but he says he's just there to check on her. Neve tries to awkwardly explain how she dislikes being stuck in human form. Richard tries to understand her condition, in part by comparing it to his own. Neve does her best to explain her shape-shifting nature and how she feels uncomfortable if she can't change regularly. And with her coat damaged, that's difficult and makes her unhappy. So she comes to the baths to try and connect with the water, and fantasize about revenge against the fishermen who put her in this situation. Richard is absolutely thrilled to help her with this. Back to Hornby. She's not doing well investigating the apartment and the myriad orifices she encounters. That's just as just as good she hears Call's footsteps approaching. She's happy to leave Call to it and instead investigates the kitchen. Clearly, the people here had aspirations to wealth. She finds a jade scarab hairpin laced with dried blood. As this unfolds, Dick and Neve visit the Limehouse School, a children's workhouse. The kids here are barely taken care of. One minder does his best to see to the kids' needs. Seeing this, Richard turns to Neve and says he's never been to a place like this. Neither is Neve, who says it seems like some kind of broken pod. As they chat, the minder approaches and asks if he can help. Dick launches into an extravagant story about a stolen and damaged coat, no doubt stolen from Neve, asking to find the ragamuffin responsible. This clearly makes the caretaker nervous, but Dick promises discretion if he just gets the information he's looking for. Meanwhile, Neve focuses on the children. She zeroes in on some girls who should be sewing and comments on how complicated the work looks. A small blonde girl replies, and Neve invites the girl to look at her coat and say how she might fix it. In the bug room, Call is doing his best to chat up the giant beetle. Examining the world, he finds a sheaf of documents, including an induction to a cult of St. Francis of Assisi. A loud knocking at the door interrupts both Call and Hornby. The landlady is demanding to know who's coming in and out of the apartment. Call is happy to answer the door, making sure the large beetle is kept firmly out of sight. He does his best to charm and mildly flirt with the landlady to assure her that nothing is amiss. She seems to be quite into it. Elsewhere, Dick speaks with Lawrence, the caretaker of Limehouse School. As they speak, he notices a crude chalk drawing of a Roman phalanx near the sewing room. Lawrence seems to brush off rumors of women turning up dead without their blood. As he speaks, Neves speaks with young Sally. As the two speak, Neves speaks with young Sally, who admires her coat. She might have been able to fix it, but all their needles have been going missing, along with buttons, all in sets of 3. Neve also notices she's been pickpocketed by another child. Her iron brooch is missing. Later that night, the residents all make their plans for the evening, but then there's an insistent, persistent knocking at the door, which Hornby answers. It's Jenny Johnston, the owner of the Limehouse Opium Den. She looks exhausted and harried, clearly in distress. As she steps into the room, she lifts up into the air, screaming. A pair of small hands tears her apart, revealing the small vampire. Hornby and Neve start screaming, only to be brushed off by Dick and Call. The vampire thanks them for inviting them in, because it doesn't appreciate this poking around in its affairs. Neve yells upstairs, while Hornby does her best to assuage the vampire. It gives its name as V, and V is amused that Hornby isn't scared of it. Upstairs, Dick grabs for some bed sheets to take the place of an outfit. Call moves quickly on hearing Neve screaming about the danger, also in a state of dishabille. I don't think I've ever seen that word spelled out before. But he tries to be polite when he sees Hornby and the small vampire. As Cole tries to talk down the vampire, Dick arrives in a toga and mask. Dick is upset and ready to do violence. His toga falls off as he lunges at the monster, provoking any number of unique reactions from the hunters of Hargrave House. Time seems to stop as the vampire appraises Richard's body. Has this strange vampire fallen in love with him? No, thankfully it is not. Richard instead draws on his past, remembering fights of yesterday. He remembers the time as a young adult when he began despising his own parents, and this gives him enough passion and energy to subdue the vampire with fisticuffs. As he fights, Call enacts an impromptu magical ritual. That gives Dick the edge he needs to finish off the vampire, or at least tie them up. Exhausted and bloodied, a new Dick decides to return to his room. Call makes a quiet quip about Richard's physique, and Dick orders Hornby to clean the mess up. Neve runs away, still scared. Hornby, irritated, takes care of V, then goes to attend to Master Dashing. A shame Hornby didn't check the shackles better, as V will vanish by morning. Call is determined for this to not disrupt his date, and leaves to go meet Hagatha. Excuse me.
Thank you very much. Now, before we get fully started, let's check in on our hunters. Sure Shot Dick Dashing has 2 conditions, bloody lungs and marked by Abigail Walker. Hornby has heebie-jeebies as the 1 condition from bug stuff. Call Jaggard has most beloved and marked by Hagatha Leakey. And Neve Doyle has terrified sea longing and marked by blind Jenny. It's like there might be some vulnerable scenes to be had. Let's check in on the threats that we have really quickly. We have 3 available clues for the Limehouse Lurker. Its complexity is 4, so that one might be up for getting answered today at some point. And we have 2 for the beetle. Its complexity is 8, so we cannot answer a question on that one yet. And both of the threat masks are still open.
Oh.
Now, it is the day phase. I will be introducing a new threat. Fig's Pigs. Call. The Fig family sent you one of their famous Fig's pigs, a meat pie with a little pig stamped on the crust. You enjoyed the first few bites before realizing it contained human meat. What gave it away?
I think it's a little bit too cliched to say that it has a very like identifiable body part in it. So But I think that's really kind of the only thing that makes sense because I'm not sure that people would inherently be able to tell that it's human meat. So sure, let's go with
Oh, the people apparently taste like pork. So you'd be
that's
like,
what I've heard.
this tastes like pork, but it's not pork.
Hmm.
I mean,
It would.
That's also
the other answer
kind of
is
cliched.
that
So
Call has taken a nibble before.
that's what I was gonna go with, but I
That's
didn't
what I was
know how.
thinking.
I didn't know if I wanted to go that route with him.
I mean, it would make sense that he's tasted people, not even necessarily in a
listen.
cannibalism way, but in like a sexual
Call
way.
Call has 100% tasted other human. Like
Yeah,
that's a thing.
that's kind of what I was going for.
So okay, I guess yes. Call's sommelier like taste for flesh allows him to identify it probably almost immediately. But I mean, hey, it's good. So why waste a good pie?
Yeah, why waste that long pig?
I mean, it's in the title. Pig is
And
spelled with
no,
two
in,
G's.
in the case of Dick, it's really long pig.
Oh my god.
No, that's a long hog. There's a difference.
Hog is pig. I mean, it's synonyms. That's all.
All right. You called Scotland Yard, and Mr. Fig was arrested. His wife and two sons managed to escape capture. Mr. Fig is being held at Bethlehem Royal Hospital. He won't tell the inspectors anything about where his family might be, though he has been singing a little song about them. Sing a song of 3 figs, the apples of my eye. Snatch a bunch of long pigs and bake them into pies. First comes little Patrick, about on paw or hoof. He thinks he's an animal and has since troubled youth. Obert the blade has fine taste, more than most I know. It has to be the right pig, see. The meat must be just so. My love, la bella hortensia, the gravy to my crust. To hold that which she loved and lost, she'll do what she must. Sing a song of 3 figs, their names you now all know. You'll see them down old London town, and in the sack you'll go. Amazingly, Scotland Yard has asked for Hargrave House's help in capturing the figs. They want to keep the investigation of the figs pie shop in Shoreditch fairly quiet, without official police presence, so as not to set off a pie hysteria throughout the city. You've come to the conclusion that Mr. Figs' song is a guide for how to find the other figs. It has helped you form some questions, the answers to which will lead to their capture. This threat has 3 questions, all of which need to be answered in order for and resolved in order for the threat to be considered resolved. The first one, all of these are complexity 2. The first one, what kind of animal does Patrick Fig think he is? Lure the animal, or this unlocks the opportunity to lure the animal out in the open and then capture or destroy him. The next one, what type of victim does Obert Fig prefer? Lure Obert Fig to you and then capture or destroy him. And what did La Hortensia Fig lose that she's trying to recapture or remember? Find La Hortensia and then capture or destroy her is that opportunity. For this, when the question is answered and the opportunity is available, you can answer and resolve the questions as well as the opportunities in the day, except for the last one. The last one must be done at night.
I forget, is that an exception to the way it normally works?
Yes. You can only answer a question and pursue an opportunity at night, typically. But in this, it's only the last one that you pursue.
When it can be any of the 3? Can be the
Yeah.
last one? Okay, cool.
Yeah. You can pursue them in any order you want. And this has the mask of the pig associated with it. Each hunter narrates a dream about the pagan swine god Mok. Did Mok demand a sacrifice of riches, status, or blood? What did they each sacrifice? That'll be relevant once or if someone marks it. Otherwise, what would everyone like to be doing this day phase?
I'd like to have a vulnerable scene. Richard needs to have a conversation with Hornby this morning.
And Neve would also like to have a vulnerable scene with whomstever feels like following her out as she ran. Okay, yeah, call's good.
Well, actually, so he didn't follow her out, but he did leave because he went to go meet with Agatha.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's.
That can be,
You could
yeah, that's
certainly come
perfectly fine.
across her on your way to meet Agatha.
We can do a
Okay.
little bit of, uh, you know, what's
Time
I don't remember the word.
shenanigans.
Flashback. That's what we'll call it. I don't remember the actual like film term for it.
I like time
In media
shenanigans
res,
better.
is that what it is? I don't think so.
In
Time
media
shenanigans.
res means starting in the middle of something, so like right in the
Yeah.
middle of the action.
Mm-hmm.
So not that, but something like that, sort of. Anyways,
Yeah, I think you're
uh,
thinking a flashback.
let's start with Sure Shot and Hornby's scene since they've been planning it for a while. Give you two some time to figure out what you would like to have for yours. Please take it away.
Question for framing, Cthulhu. Does Hornby arrive at the usual expected time? Or
I
does
mean,
Richard have to
she
call
she
for
had
her?
to clean up a big mess, so it might be a little later than usual.
Okay. The moment Hornby is late, Richard opens his door impatiently, calls, Hornby, I have need of you.
She'll appear. Of course, Master Dashing. My apologies. She'll take off like bloodied like cleaning gloves.
Richard stares at the gloves. Never mind that right now. Come inside. Yes, and I'm going to close the door behind you. Richard is still naked. Hornby, there appears to have been some mistake. You appear to have forgotten, he says, pointing to his bed, to leave me any clean clothes to wear this morning. And you have accidentally left this maid uniform in my room. This is incredibly unprofessional. I demand an explanation.
Well, Master Dashing, you must not have been aware there was a terrible outbreak of moths in your wardrobe. I've had to send out all your clothes to be properly tailored again.
I don't recall any such outbreak. What am I supposed to wear today? I have investigations to do.
Well, I scrounged the home thoroughly for anything your size, and unfortunately, she holds up the maid and presses it again, the maid outfit, and presses it against Richard. You'll see it's an almost perfect fit.
I am not wearing a maid out uniform. I am your master.
Please. Oh, so you prefer to go naked
No, no,
today?
no. I said no such thing. I cannot go. I will look ridiculous wearing this.
I think you'll look quite stunning, Master Dashing, especially after we apply some lovely makeup as well. If you just take a seat, we can get started.
You're doing this intentionally, aren't you?
Whatever do you mean, Master Dashing? What reason would I have to subject you to such treatment?
I don't know. You've been so strange lately. Is this about Call?
Whatever you mean?
I've seen the way you keep looking at him. He's around me.
It sounds like you're the jealous one, Master Dashing.
I am not jealous. He pushes her against the wall. I am in control here.
Are you? Well, then, I suppose you can dress yourself then.
I. When will my clothes be ready?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to go visit the tailor. Perhaps we can go out together.
Go out together. Uh,
I presume you'd want to change out of this outfit as soon as possible, so it would only make sense you accompany me.
and I suppose you can't simply go there yourself, knowing my measurements, and pick out an outfit for me to.
I already did pick out an outfit for you to wear.
It's just what we're doing today instead of investigating.
I mean, if you prefer to investigate in this outfit, I
God
have
damn it.
no objections to it. Shall we come up with a name for you? So what's a good way to feminize Richard? Let's call you Ricky, perhaps. How's that suit you? You can be my fellow maid at Hargrave's house for the day.
I'm not your maid. I swear to God, if you tell anybody about this, even Neve and Call, just what part goes on first?
I'll show you. And Master Dashin, Hornby pats his cheek. There's no God in this house.
I think that's where we'll check in on the move text. I think this under the very loose definition of trysts, this counts.
Or a loose definition of what a salon is, if Richard's
Yeah.
bedroom counts.
Real. So I think you get it, even if just barely. I'm watching you though. All right. So you can each clear an appropriate condition. I think that you can probably clear bloody lungs, Dick, just by nature of it having been a while. And
I was gonna say
GBs are definitely gone.
I was gonna say clear mark by Abigail Walker because clearly
You could do that
Hornby's claimed
either.
me.
You could do that too.
Okay, I'm taking that one off. I'll keep the bloody lungs.
All right. And
Yeah, that
Hornby,
corset's not going to help with your bloodied lungs.
for real. You, since it was your vice, get to stumble on a clue. You get to tell me what it is. Can't answer a question by itself, or you get to invite the other hunter to ask you about your past. You must answer truthfully, but not necessarily completely.
This is one of the few games where I am continually discouraged in my brain from taking the mechanical benefit. I will invite Richard to ask me a question about my past.
Okay. How about how did you learn to be a servant?
Um, so Hornby is like, well, when I fell in with the 40 elephants, um, one of our favorite schemes is showing up to rich people's homes with fake credentials as servants. So you need to be able to put on a good act. And turns out I'm pretty good at the act.
And now you're
You would know something about that, though, wouldn't you, Master Dashing? She smiles.
I was very intimate with a servant when I was younger. And yes, I think I'm getting very comfortable wearing disguise. That's very tight.
Let's cut to Neve and Call.
Neve is currently terrified, so, she is not really thinking that much about where she's going or why. Um, so I feel like Call will be able to encounter her wherever.
Call
Probably
is
somewhere, like, out of the way, at least.
well. I imagine heading towards the apartment is. I don't think the apartment was in a particularly prominent or like well off part of town. So it makes sense that Call would probably have to cut through an alley or two in order to get there. Um, so he's got his cane, kind of tapping against the cobblestones as he walks. Um, and yeah,
Alright. You'll probably then overhear, around the corner or on the other side of a shrub, just sort of Neve having a panic attack.
okay. Um, he very sort of naturally, as soon as he hears like the sounds of distress, he kind of turns and makes his way in that direction. Not in a rush of any kind, but um, that's the kind of thing that would definitely get his attention. So he'll come almost sauntering up, because after all, he was on his way to a booty call. So he's in a certain frame of mind. Um, he'll say, Neve, whatever's the matter, dear.
There, there was, it was in the house, and and it was, and it was a monster, and I saw its teeth, and they were
Hmm,
like shark's teeth.
I see. Is Neve like like on a stoop or like huddled behind a wall or like what's
I feel like in a little ball behind a wall. Unintentional rhyme there, but yeah.
okay? I'm imagining kind of like a waist high wall. So Call will he'll move to kind of sit on the wall rather than be looking over it. Um, and say, uh, I suppose when looked at from that perspective, I can see how it would be very frightening. Did fleeing help?
Well, I'm away from the monster, so that's good. But now I feel awful that I couldn't stay.
Well, I think feeling awful is perhaps unnecessary. There are situations where one must look out for one's own safety. While that may not sound particularly heroic, sometimes life isn't about heroism. Sometimes life is about making it to the next day.
But I've heard so much about uh, bravery and not being a coward, and I feel like such a coward.
I
Like,
don't see a coward.
what if Hornby got hurt?
Well, then that is something that Hornby will have to live with. We are not all we are all not all defenders in so much as that word might imply. Some of us are caretakers, and after the blood has been shed and the pain has been felt, those people step in. They may not be there to prevent these wounds, but they're there to soothe them and apply balm over them. And I can assure you that while I would not recommend fleeing in such situations in the future, that's not out of a judgment of your bravery, but more a matter of should you isolate yourself like this in the future, it is entirely possible for the monster to follow you, which is something that would make it very difficult for us to find you and protect you.
Like you
So,
say that, and like Neve just sort of like curls into a little tighter ball.
I would encourage you in the future to run towards myself, or Master Dashing, or Hornby, all of whom would rather come to harm ourselves than see you harmed, I'm sure.
That
There's strength with friends.
and so Neve has these big round dark eyes, and you can sort of see the tears welling up in them a little bit. And she's like, "Are, are you saying you're my pod? While I'm human?"
He'll reach down, kind of pat her head, not patronizingly, but in a very sort of, I guess, sort of in a reassuring way, and he'll say, "I am in your pod, whether you are human or whether you are in your natural form."
I feel like now Neve just gives him like a deceptively strong hug. And it's just like, I never expected anyone to say that about me, and I'm sorry you can't do a seal form, but maybe one day I can find you a coat of your own, and you can see what it's like. That's the nicest thing you said to me ever.
I would be very pleased to have the opportunity to join you. And it's possible that you won't need to find me a coat for me to do that, actually. Hold on one second. Yeah, I may have a method of joining you without a coat of my own. But that's
Are you
neither here nor there.
merfolk?
No, no, I simply have friends who are capable of allowing me to accomplish various feats that may not be physically or even metaphysically possible normally. But that's for another time. I assure you, you are no coward. You just ran the wrong direction, that's all.
Starts wiping away her tears, and you can tell she's calming down.
And he stands and he pulls a handkerchief out from the pocket, the inside pocket of his waistcoat, and he hands it to you.
Honk honk.
You may keep that if you wish. I have plenty. You never know when you need to wipe up a mess, so I have several on me at any time.
Thank you. That means a lot. You're right. I should get back to the house.
Can you make your way there safely alone?
Yes.
Very well. In that case, I will see you in the morning. I have a social arrangement to attend to.
I will see you in the morning.
Sleep well.
Excellent. I loved that. By the text of the move, I shouldn't say that you guys can remove conditions, but I loved that a lot, so I think you can. I'm just not going to give you the bonus because I don't. I tried real hard to figure out a justification for either of your vices being in play here. The best one that I could think of is that Hagatha Leaky maybe counts as a dark entity being a landlord. But that one's shaky at best. So I think you can both clear conditions if you'd like. And I think Terrified makes the most sense for Neve and marked by Hagatha Leaky for Call. And
I can't remove the other ones, so yeah.
Yeah. With that, What else would everyone like to get done during this day phase?
Go to Seville Row, maybe see a tailor. After that, maybe go get something to eat. I'm sure I'll be hungry.
You know, Dick, I know an exceptionally good tailor. You should come with me to go visit her.
I mean, if we are visiting tailors, Neve would like to tag along.
Are you sure about that, Neve? This is the tailor that we met when you and I went out together last.
Holds up
Uh,
damaged coat.
if
All
it's
right.
this meetup is happening in character, I think Richard is hoping to. Vicky is trying to avoid the two of you, but I imagine Hornby's like, just kind of go in this direction where I know the two of them are going to be, but she knows where everybody is.
Is
Oh
it
God! Or you can just show up wherever you want. So you just drag me over to the yes.
is it obvious that that Dick is avoiding me?
I don't think it'd be obvious until the scene, until like they meet up and Richard is going to pretend to be someone else.
Okay.
At which point, yes, it'll become.
Okay.
So Richard leaves the home with, if I might assume, Richard leaves home with Hornby.
What else would everyone else like to do, though? Are we all going to the tailors? Are we all seeing Weaver?
Party
What's the
at the
plan
Weaver
here?
shop.
I mean,
Sorry, I didn't mean to be
Neve
controlling.
really wants to focus on her coats, and I think Call after last night, Call wants to support her in that. So
All right. I suppose we're all going to the Weaver's shop, except for
Yeah.
maybe Hornby and Dick. I don't know if you two are going there or not.
I'm cool with us going there. It'd be fun to meet up with the other two, but I don't want to speak for Aaron.
All right. Hell yeah.
I was debating if Hornby's gonna have detours in mind just to torment Richard some more.
I am fine with that too.
Okay. She's not gonna go back to the bug place. Fuck that shit. Do, do, do. Yeah, yeah, she's gonna make a little detour to uh the Limehouse School, I think, since she had an encounter with the vampire.
All right. Let's start with the scene with Neve and Call at the Weavers, I think. Let me pull that back up. As a reminder, we have you guys did the one where you help her stay, right? You guys got a custom move from that I think I completely forgot to mention. So let me go over that now. Draw the veil. At least I'm pretty sure that's the question that was answered. Let me double check really quickly. Yep. All right. Oh, wait, it's already in there. I'm just brilliant. Draw the veil. When you invoke the powers of the Fey realm to obscure the true nature of a person, object, or situation, roll with presence. On a 10 plus, your deception goes unnoticed. Roll with advantage when acting to maintain it. And 7 or 9, as above, but an unknown Fey entity takes interest in your actions, and on a miss, you unknowingly violate an obscure aspect of Fey etiquette and get the trespasser condition until you make amends. Anyways, so that's something that you all have access to. At least while you maintain the alliance with Weaver. And speaking
Call
of which,
is all about maintaining alliances. So
hell yeah, he is.
diplomacy.
And we see, I think we can just skip to you all being in her private workshop. We see the lamps hanging from the ceiling, the flickering lights seeking to escape, shelves overflowing with cascading bolts of expensive cloth, walls overgrown with grasping vines and withered flowers. Suits and gowns of exquisite craftsmanship line the room, connected by faint silvery thread, frozen in uncanny human gestures. And this is, again, we have seen this before, but it is a lime veil. This is a little bit body horror-y. Are we all right with that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of mannequins, they are posed on the hollow bodies of former suitors of the Weaver. They're still here. She hasn't made any new ones, but those ones are still here. And they do still mimic the presentation of that Bay Court. As you enter, the two of you are able to hear the sounds of a lavish party from a very distant balcony. And Weaver approaches, that strange, overbearing shadow once again overlapping with her human-esque form. Hello again. To what do I owe this great pleasure of seeing my most trusted allies?
Neve holds up her coat. I have a broken magic coat.
The coat of a Selkie?
Well, it's my coat, so don't go getting any ideas. I'm just here for help.
Don't worry. I may be able to do something to assist you with this, yes. It has been such a long time since I worked on anything with such potence. Present company excluded.
Paul can't wink because he normally has an eye patch on, but sorry for not wearing that tonight, by the way. It was really messing with my eye.
No worries. I do believe. Well, we may need to wait for the night time to do any real restorative work on it. The energy from the moon is quite important to these things, you see, but should be able to perhaps do something along those lines.
I don't mind hanging out until high tide.
However, I will need something in return. I am, after
Naturally.
all, running a business now.
We would never presume to approach someone of your station and request a favor without intending to offer something that you might need or desire in turn.
I think let's have the day move here. I think either one of you can do this. It'll be with sensitivity since it is dealing with a big old Fae. Uh, whichever either of you wants to roll. Call,
Neve,
you
do
will
a
have
preference?
disadvantage for most beloved, and me, I think you will have disadvantage for sea longing, so it doesn't particularly matter mechanically.
Alright. Well, my sensitivity is 2, and this is sort of like something that Neve is asking for herself. So,
Sensitivity is also too, but I think this is it's more personal to Neve.
Neve, what are you afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
that this bitch gonna steal my coat.
It's a good fear to have. If you want, you can look over your personal quarters and see if anything here wants to help you negate that disadvantage. Otherwise, go ahead and roll with presence or sensitivity.
I already rolled. I got a 9. With sensitivity that brings it up to 11.
Excellent.
Nice. Well done.
Thank you.
Forgot to turn the voice off. I'm so sorry. It's fine.
No,
Anyways,
it actually has a really nice ambiance.
yeah, it's pretty good. All right. So, I think let's go ahead and cut to Call very quickly. What are you doing as Neve and Weaver negotiate?
I don't know why this just came to me, but it did. So I'm going to run with it. I've got that mirror, the small mirror that always shows a reflection of the St. James Street ghost. Calls, he's going to take that out and he's just going to kind of like look into it and use it to, sort of examine the room through the reflection of the mirror.
Interesting. I like that. Let's have the information move with sensitivity, please. And I don't think that your conditions are going to come into play here.
Okay. So let's see. It's going to be +2. That's only a 7.
All right. Hornby and Shershot. You two are on Seville Row, or rather on the way to Seville Row, but Hornby's taking you on a detour for whatever reason, and now you're here at the Limehouse School, which almost everyone stops when they see you, specifically the kids. They gawk because they're children and they don't know subtlety.
Hornby, I cannot help but notice that this is not Seville Row.
Oh, forgive me, Master Dashing. Oh, are we pretending still? Sorry,
Yes,
Ricky.
we're in public. Call
Yes,
me
sorry.
picky.
Yes, Ricky. I had some important business here that need to be taken care of first.
Oh, well, wonderful. Perhaps I can assist you with expediting it.
Oh, wonderful. I'd love for you to help me look around this for any sort of suspicious nooks and crannies or perhaps some blood stains. Be careful when you're bending over. That skirt is rather short.
As a reminder of the location, there are filthy children all over the place. A frustrated group of staff trying to gather children and get them to work on projects successfully and not, mostly not, as well as the general smell of unwashed bodies. And as you're both talking, you're both suddenly aware of the fact that you can hear your own heartbeats.
My heart's racing. Do you hear that? It feels so loud.
Too. Perhaps you've discovered an affinity for this outfit.
Richard blushes and uh, fidgets, which only emphasizes the bust of the corset. Let's hurry about our um, task. Um, worry about that. Um, perhaps if we're looking for something, we should look for a basement.
That sounds wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I think at this point, one of these kids runs up to the two of you, and he looks directly at you, Dick, and points and says, "Why are you wearing that? You don't look like the kind of person that usually wears that. You're way too clean."
I look at Hornby. How clean is Hornby?
Less than you.
Well, I'm very new to this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you bad at your job.
Oh, no, it's quite all right. Don't worry.
It makes you feel better. I'm bad at mine too. They don't let me do it anymore.
What do you do for work?
I was supposed to cook, then I put rats in it. They didn't like that. But I thought they was free, and then I could have used the money to buy fucking candy. So I thought I thought it worked out fine. I don't let me cook anymore. I'm
Oh,
Thomas.
I'm Ricky, and this is Hornby.
That one's your boss?
He
Because you're the new one, right?
is. Yeah, yes. Yes, she's teaching me the ropes. Thank you.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they did that. I thought it was like a fancy maid school.
Well, we all have to start somewhere.
Let's have the information move with presence, please.
Here we go.
And I think I am going to give you disadvantage for bloody lungs as the corset is kind of squeezing a little.
Okay. Okay, yep, that's a failure.
Oh boy. What number specifically?
Oh, interesting. Lowest of all dice, 2. That is a 4 total.
Nice. Love that. Hornby, what are you doing in this moment as the two of them are having this delightful interaction?
As much as she does want to relish in Richard's suffering, she is on a mission. And Richard made a rather good suggestion. She's going to go see if she can locate a basement school, perhaps.
Excellent. I think you can make the information move with reason then.
Reason is plus. Okay, cool. Also a failure. That's a 6.
Excellent.
I did wish for bad dice rolls, so here they are.
Here they are. I might just keep my failure on this one. I'm curious what
Let's
we
see.
get.
Okay, we have been going for about an hour. I think we can probably go ahead and take our first 10 here.
Cool.
So we will be back on the 10 of the hour.
I did indeed. Oh, um, so the Weaver. So this is a mostly normal tailor shop, at least that you can see from the street, with very normal dresses in taffeta and wool and linen. But like any good shop, all the cool stuff is in the back. And so the weaver decides that this is the stock that she's going to dip into and goes into a clearly very rarely used sewing basket and comes up with a couple scraps, a couple remnants of, it's not chiffon and it's not satin and it's not silk, but it's got some really iridescent, shimmery qualities of all three fabric types. And the weaver is able to use this fabric that looks like it might have been spun from fairy wings, who knows? But she uses it to patch part of Neve's coat. Cool. Awesome. Um, and then while she works, Neve is like, "So what can I do for you? Do you want fresh salmon? I can get you lots of fresh salmon." I can find some for you. That's very weird. Say something, Steph? Huh. Um, Ben, say something? All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna switch my audio device.
Hello.
All right. How are things now?
I
So,
have no idea. We're good?
Sounds like we're back, yeah.
Okay, good.
um,
All right. Man, OBS
yeah.
is weird. Thank you, audience, for letting us know.
Yes. Uh, effectively, the Weaver said that she wants an oyster from or rather, a pearl from a dying oyster at the bottom of the Thames, because she can crush it up and make a pigment with it. Uh, and Call, you are looking through and just looking around through this looking glass. You can still see St. James's Street ghost looking around at her new environs, seeming to enjoy the change of scenery for once. She smiles and points. She points to a very strange heap of clothing. Seems to have been discarded. The dominant color is red. This is a clue for Fig's Pigs.
I'll go take a closer look at it.
I think that you're able to tell that this, at the very least, was around the pie shop because you are very familiar with the scent of those pies by now. And you can sort of faintly smell that on the clothing, which is how you know to tie it to Fig's Pigs as well. However, as you approach it, the ghost starts to sour her face somewhat. Be careful with these. Something is deeply wrong with the imprint that whoever wore these last has left. And indeed, as soon as you touch the clothes, you feel something grab hold, at least of a very small part of you. I'm giving you the condition bloodlust.
Listen, it's cold out, okay? Just
What do you do?
I mean, the same thing Call always does in these situations. Call welcomes whatever it is into his presence. Maybe not out loud, but definitely kind of sending out that vibe. Um, Call's no stranger to lust in general, whether it be blood or other types. So
Excellent.
Call would like to make friends with whatever this is.
It's just a general feeling of lots of violence was done in these clothes and it wants to keep doing them. And now you have that.
Okay.
Less of an entity and more of a leaving behind of
A
something.
vibe.
Yeah.
What was
Okay.
the clue again, Steph?
A heap of clothing discarded. The dominant color red. They smell faintly of Fig's Pigs as well.
So you're saying whoever owned these clothes. Never mind. No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna do it. It's too bad. It's too bad a joke. I'm gonna skip it. Never mind. Forget I said.
All right. Hell yeah. In that case.
What would Drea do then?
So the previous owners of the clothes left Call on red and ghosted.
Hell yeah. Not at all where I thought that was going.
Like I said, it's not a great joke.
Hell yeah. All right. Okay. Let's cut back over to Sure Shot.
Oh, wonderful.
You got a 4.
I did, in fact, roll 4. And if we were going off of lowest number wins, I think that'd be pretty good.
I think as you are talking with this kid, Thomas, this is a little bit bloody. Do I have permission to go through with it?
Yeah, go for it.
You're talking and talking, or mostly listening to him talk, as kids tend to never stop doing, which is, to be clear, a good thing. I love it when kids speak their minds. They should keep doing it. However, this one does it a lot. And you're sitting there listening, maybe fading in and out of attention, when you only just barely realize that there's a cat gently chewing on the exposed leg flesh, lapping up at the blood. I would like you to make the day move, please. What are you afraid will happen if you fail?
Cat is looking at
Oh,
exposed.
it's chewing on your flesh and licking the blood that's coming out of it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, just gently chewing on it though. It's like just chill.
I like that it took a moment for my character to realize this. I'm going to try to. So I'm going to try to gently stroke the cat reassuringly,
Well, what are you
and
afraid will
then
happen if you fail? I've already called for the move.
right. No, that I'm getting there. I'm thinking through it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Uh, I'm afraid that it's going to claw up my leg. I
Yeah,
will indeed start looking dirty.
I think this is probably going to be with composure.
Okay.
And I don't think Bloody Lungs comes into play here.
All right. Ooh, okay. I just lucked out on this one. That's a 10.
Excellent. I am still going to give you the condition chewed leg.
Mhm.
Uh, however, Hornby, you are walking about the place looking for a basement of some sort. And I think you come across a cellar door. Upon opening it, you see that there's no lighting inside. There isn't even any light from outside seemingly able to penetrate into it. If you proceed into the basement, any day move you make will instead be a night move.
Uh, um, yeah, fuck it.
Unless
We've
you want
all.
to put on a mask.
I do want to put on a mask, but also I want to do this night move. Hmm. Fuck it. We've all. I'm gonna go into the cellar.
Hell yeah. As you enter the cellar, sound starts fading from around you, beginning to be harder to hear the hustle and bustle of all the children running about. It's almost peaceful in a sense. You start hearing the lightly dripping fluid. And as you look around, you see a very familiar face by this point, small as it may be. And it knows your name, and you know its. It's V. Standing in this damp, dark place, surrounded by a makeshift little circle of dead mice. He looks at you and he says, "Oh, it's you. Hi. I'd like the night move, please. What are you afraid will happen if you fail?"
Um, I think because I've already drawn his interest. Uh, I don't think death is on the table. I think it's gonna turn me.
Ooh, vampire butler.
It's worse than that. It'll turn you and instruct you to then turn Richard in as following. Do you want to continue with this, or do you want to go back up the stairs?
I'm continuing. Fuck that. I ain't no
Hell
coward.
yeah.
Hell yeah, this is definitely gonna be with composure.
Might just roll it straight. Not that I do anything straight. Um. Yeah, I don't have any conditions to worry about. We're just gonna roll it with my composure. That's a 12. The curse is back.
Hell yeah. Excellent. Neve, what are you doing now that you've got all of this end call for that matter? What are you both doing now? You still waiting around to see if Sure and Hornby make an appearance?
I mean, Neve got what she wanted, so she's probably just sort of like preening over her coat right now. But as soon as someone asks her for help or to join them, that's what she'll do.
You needed to retrieve something, did you not? Shall we go for a swim?
Yes. Although we should,
And to be
uh,
clear, is it nighttime?
Not yet. We're still in the day phase.
yeah,
Hornby
and
rolled the night
so
move because they are in the very, very dark basement.
yeah,
Just making sure.
Neve will say we should wait until moonrise because that's when the tide will come in.
I agree. In that case, Paul will check his pocket watch. It would seem that our other two friends are otherwise engaged with each other. So perhaps we should go and find them.
Oh, if you know where to look, yes.
I have some suspicion.
I'll come with you then.
If I know anything, if I know Hornby at all, and I like to think I would be getting to know her better over the next little while, she seems the type to hold a grudge. So I think we should go and visit the individual who visited us last night. Will you be okay with that?
Not a real shark. She's not a real shark. She's not a real shark. Yes.
Neve, my dear, she is far worse than a shark.
No, sharks are really bad.
They are. This is true. But outside of their environment, sharks are powerless. That is not the case for her.
You've just sort of.
Her, him,
Vampire child.
them.
Wait, I've been using it as the
It doesn't
pronoun
matter.
in the notes.
Or rather, it doesn't care.
But like when you say sharks are only dangerous in their environment, Neve just sort of blinks at you.
Sharks are not dangerous on land, are they not? Or am I incorrect?
Some memories just stick with you, all right? She's a land shark.
I agree. I was not disputing your point. I suppose, in a way, reinforcing it. But shall we? And he'll offer her his elbow.
Neve sort of awkwardly takes it. She's like, where does my hand? Okay, here's where my hand goes.
You're both heading to the Limehouse School then, yes?
That's the only thing that Call can think of to identify where they might be.
Excellent. Let's cut back over to Sure Shot.
Because Call doesn't have that I can show up wherever you are thing.
You got a 10. That means you get to describe what it looks like.
When
How
I
do you both
how I
freaking the hell
respond.
out about the cat?
Okay. Ricky looks down at the cat chewing on her leg and goes like, "Oh, hey there." She reaches out and gently pets it and hums a tune that she remembers the gardener's son singing to animals that would be dangerous in the garden. The pet calms down and she gently steps away. She looks at the boy and says, "If you can scrounge up a rat, I think that they might like one."
Oh, oh yeah, that's a little guy right there. He's real cute. Oh, he bit you up, didn't he? I think he might be hungry. Yeah, I can find some rats for this guy. They'll probably even let us keep him because they'll keep the rest of the rats out. That's pretty sweet. I hope we don't have to eat him again.
Be sure to give him a good name.
Oh yeah. And
Now,
the kid reaches out and grabs the little guy and just starts petting it. Cat immediately starts purring.
Ricky is going to go looking for Hornby when she realizes that Hornby isn't here. It's like basement and heads that way.
And I think it's as you begin walking toward where you suspect there may be a cellar or basement, is when Call and Neve begin walking up. The two of you see much of the same. Also, Ricky in a maid costume walking that away. What do you do?
To whomst are you addressing the question?
Either of you, both of you.
I'll allow Neve to answer first.
What was the question?
What are you doing as you approach the Limehouse School?
Waving. Hi!
So you could probably see him.
Dear. Ricky freezes up when she hears Neve's voice. There's a pause where she tries to keep moving in hopes that they think that they've been mistaken.
Is that you, Dick? I like your dress.
Ricky turns and faces Neve, quietly approaches, and says, "I'm sorry, but don't call me that here, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Circumstances."
What should I call you?
Forgive us. It seems as we've mistaken you for someone else.
Yes. I'm Ricky. Uh, I was for the basement. Um,
Generally, they're, and Call will just point down.
Ricky takes a long sigh and then, regaining her composure and really putting on a different kind of presence, says, "Well, I've checked out most of the area. Follow me if you don't mind.
Is that your
I could
land
use your
shark
help.
hunting dress?
It's a gift from a good friend."
I would posit that there are no land shark hunting dresses. It's an ill-advised garment for this sort of work. Although, I suppose, depending on what you plan to do with the creature once you find it, the skirt does have certain benefits. And then Call will offer his other arm to Ricky.
He just looks
Uh,
confused.
She accepts, blushing furiously. "Oh, you're very kind, sir."
You're very lovely. That shade of orange goes very well with your complexion.
Mm, I think that you're able to find the basement fairly quickly. In time, certainly, to see Hornby. You got a 12 plus. That means you get to narrate what happens here. I will remind you that you cannot defeat the vampire quite yet. Otherwise, you have full control of the narrative right now.
Cool. All right. I'm just going to take a look at our options for the question, by the way. Cool. Okay. Hornby smiles and is like, good to see you again. Is this where you're calling home currently?
No. I was just setting something up here so that I could do a little bit of. I suppose you could call it reconnaissance. Bats don't like it when light gets in.
Oh, so the myths are true then about creatures of the night doing your bidding. Intriguing.
How embarrassing that you didn't already know as a monster hunter. You really should work on that.
Oh, I'm no monster hunter. I'm merely a butler, as you can see.
Hmm. And yet you're one of the most competent of them all, aren't you?
You're very gracious.
Oh, and humble too. My. I don't think I'll kill you yet. What are you here for? Well, besides obviously finding me. Which, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I had a suspicion of where to find someone of your stature.
Oh, zing. Well, since you clearly need a little bit of assistance in the matter, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. This is going to be your bonus as a 12 plus here.
Okay.
The vampire points up, and you see on the roof of the basement here is a pool of half coagulated blood. Just on the roof of the cellar. And that is your clue. And I think that V looks behind you and says, "Oh, it seems that you've brought some company. I think I'll take my leave now. Goodbye."
Until
And
we meet
it
again.
jumps incredibly high, considering its stature, directly through that pool of coagulated blood, half coagulated, and is gone. And then the three of you enter, and that weird darkness fades.
Hornby turns to greet them.
Hey,
Welcome.
hi, Hornby. Look who I've brought.
See, you're making friends in interesting places.
Now, friends might be a stretch, but acquaintances at least.
I find that in my dealings with these things, the nature of the relationship quickly goes from acquaintance to something far more intimate in very short order.
Yes, you do go seeking intimacy where it's unwelcome often, don't you?
I actually make it a point never to pursue intimacy where it's unwelcome. I believe that everyone I have expressed an interest in has been very receptive to it.
Wonderful.
It seems you already know our new friend, and Call will kind of gesture to
Yes, haven't you met our new maid, Ricky? My understudy.
It's a delight. Look forward to working with all of you. I'm
She's
sorry,
a little rough. She's a little rough around the edges. Needs some instruction still, but she'll get there.
I'm more than happy to help smooth her out.
I Forgive me, Master Call. I doubt you've had to bother yourself with any of the chores that I partake of every day. I think I'd be a much better instructor.
Oh, I wasn't speaking of chores.
Speaking of errands, I think we were going to go shopping, yes?
Oh, yes, that's right. We have to make sure that Master Dashing's clothes are picked up. Oh, I'm so forgetful. I forgot I already picked them up and have stashed them in my room.
What?
And with that, I think let's go to the dusk phase. All right. So we have some custom moves to get addressed. First of all, let's start with Neve. Are you doing Moonlight Upon the Waves?
Yeah, and I think she'll probably point to the moon in the sky to call and say, if we want to go for a swim, now's going to be the best time.
I concur. I don't suppose
Right.
the two of you will be joining us.
Or a swim?
Swimming in the Thames, no thank you.
Oh, it's
A
not that
valid and
bad.
measured response, truly.
Once you get out past the mud flats, it's quite nice.
I'll take your word for it, Miss Neve.
All right. So you get to pick 2 boons and a complication.
Who's this?
Oh, whoop. Yeah, I was clicking over to my character card, ticking off 2 more boxes on the coat. Okay, I don't think I can clear any conditions because none of them are physical. Um, so for finding a keepsake, could I ask for that to be the pearl I promised to find the weaver?
No, because that would be then immediately removed from your personal quarters because it's part of that thing. This is specifically, you ask another one of the players what it is. It's sort of like taking a memento for a reward for an investigation. You ask the others what you picked up while you were out and about.
Okay, well in that case, it will be find a clue and then repair the pelt a little bit more.
Okay, and what would you like for your complication?
Um, let's attract the attention of a danger. That sounds fun, especially because I'm swimming with the most beloved.
Lovely. Oh, that's excellent. All right. And let's go back over here really quickly. Sure shot. Let's have your quickening roll.
Let's have it.
I'm looking forward to you shapeshifting in your maid outfit.
Yes, that is pretty much what is going to be happening here. I'm going to have to buff that up because that is. Wait, let me double check my sensitivity.
It's a 2.
My sensitivity is a 2, 4, 5. That gets me to a 7. That saves me, right? 7 is the basis for mixed success. Yes.
Correct. All right. So what does it say on a 7 and 9? You managed to keep the quickening in check, but just barely. You take the condition drained.
Am I correct in thinking that condition stays even after the night phase ends?
Yeah, it keeps going until you clear it.
Okay, I am going to need to do a vulnerable move soon.
And Hornby, day work time.
I think I'm going to ask you a question.
Ooh. What are you going to ask me and about which threat?
It will be about the Limehouse Lurker, appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what's the vampire's master plan?
Oh. Interesting. Hmm. I think that I'll go ahead and answer honestly here instead of providing with a clue. Its plan, to put it succinctly, is to take over a section of London effectively. Uh, it wants to control its own little part of the city so that it can feed easily and then move on to bigger things.
Okay, cool.
How do you find this out?
I think um Hornby is familiar with getting into a predator's mindset. She's a different kind of predator, robbing people, but she knows how they think. So I think she's been stalking the Limehouse. She spends the dusk, quote unquote, the dusk phase, stalking the vampire and watching what it does from afar.
Excellent. All right. Let's have a paint the scene question of Hargrave House. I think that tonight we will do. Let's do the kitchen. The kitchen has existed long before the rest of the house, having been a part of a pub that stood on the spot before Belgravia was redeveloped to be a residential district. What do we see that reminds us of this fact?
Somehow, the perpetual soup that the pub had been cooking remains on the stove. It's been burning for a while, for years, maybe decades, who knows how long. And every so often, we just add a little more water, a little more meat, a little more vegetables, whatever's to hand, whatever would go good in the soup.
The flooring here is different than in the rest of the house. The stonework beneath it is an older structure.
I'm going to piggyback off of Dick's answer. I'm going to say that some of the old stonework still bears um, sort of like the imprint of the pub itself that used to stand here. Most of them look like they've like very intentionally been scraped off, as if there was some desire to not be associated with the place or even the place's memory. But a few of them are still intact, dotted around the room.
I don't know if tappers existed in Victorian London, but I'm going to say they do. And there are still like tappers of like the house ale or whatever that are at the kitchenette, whatever, what have you.
Excellent. What would everyone like to do during this upcoming night phase?
Swim.
Call wants to use rights of salt and smoke. Specifically, I can. One of the effects is do one thing beyond human limitations, and I would like to be able to go swim in the Thames with Neve without it causing any ill effect. Is the idea.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be the shield ring. Just making my decision for later while everybody else decides.
And assuming that Call and Neve are going to be together. I'm fine having Ricky continue to hang out with Hornby. As for what we do, though, Catulia, what do you think about looking into um restaurants for the Hortensia thing? That feels like a decent angle, especially given how my character is currently presenting.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Works for me.
Excellent.
All right. Do we have any mask prompts that are still up in the air right now? Don't
Unfortunately,
believe
no.
so.
I opted not to mark a mask and instead went into the cellar, and I'm sad because I rolled good.
All right. So it can be done at any time, but the Dusk Face is a pretty good spot to try to answer a question. You do have 4 clues available for the Limehouse Lurker, and it is a complexity 4. You guys could try to answer that if you would like to.
um, yeah, I have an idea. For Livehouse Lurker. My geography is bad, though. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. How far is Hadrian's Wall from London? Is it far?
Yeah, it's the border from between England and Scotland. It's way up north.
Okay, cool. I was trying to figure out an easy way to tie in the Roman Legion, but I'm pretty sure there's
Oh,
plenty of Roman bullshit in London in general.
so there is a layer of dirt about a meter thick in London from when Boudica just rolled through this settlement and pasted it. Um,
Shout out Boudica,
Shout out
absolute queen.
Boudica.
Real
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Fucking badass.
and certainly a lot of like aqueduct ruins and bathhouse ruins and
So that everyone is on the same page, the question here that we have is if it is old, which it is, where is the vampire's nest? It unlocks the opportunity to resolve the threat by infiltrating its nest, then destroying it or convincing it to leave London. The clues that we have are crude drawings of a Roman phalanx in an unusual place. Things in sets of 3 go missing. The vampire smells specifically of smoke, and a pool of half coagulated blood, specifically on the roof of the Limehouse School basement.
So my pitch is it's not just one location because Hornby saw it teleport via blood. Um, so my pitch is that it likes things in sets of 3. So it's 3 different slaughterhouses it uses primarily. And that's the pool of half coagulated blood. That's the things in sets of 3. The smoke is probably there is a smokehouse attached to a butchery as well. That's why it smells of smoke. And I think the easy tie-in Rachel just gave me with the ash Boudica left, like there's just ash all over the place, especially in places that it's put a smokehouse in. Yeah. So yeah, it has 3 different butchers / smokehouses it uses as its main nest.
Okay.
Everyone like that?
I have no objections or additions.
Right. Then, if you'd please, Aaron, can you roll 2d6?
Gladly. That is an 8.
Excellent. It is correct, and you'll be able to pursue the opportunity. I'm going to just make a note of it here.
As a little tangent, there is a meme about what you do with a time machine, and the correct answer is travel back in time and give Boudica an AK-47.
That sounds awesome.
Hell yeah. All right. So you now know where its lairs are. Does that change any of the night plans?
Um, if Ricky still wants to investigate restaurants, that's fine. Or we can attempt to resolve the Limehouse lurker. I'm fine with either.
I think I would want to clear a condition before dealing with it. So that would require a vulnerable scene, though. No, I think we should. I think we should take care of it tonight, and I'm happy to do that as either the first or second thing that we do. That does
Okay.
seem pretty important.
All right. In that case, time to introduce the unseen. You'll find it on row 11. Tonight we will be doing moonlit mudlarking. First prompt is for everyone, second one for Amy, third for Aaron, and the last one for Ben. And with that, let's go ahead and take our next 10-minute break, and we'll come back and start our night phase. Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are going to be going into our night phase. Citrus the Unseen. The Port of London is one of the busiest in the world, and with so much cargo being loaded and unloaded, the odd crate ends up overboard. The ebb and flow of the Thames deposits this lost cargo up and down the riverbank. Under the light of the full moon, the desperate or optimistic pick through the sucking mud of low tide, stinking of shit and rotting fish, in the hopes of finding treasure. This first prompt is to paint the scene so it's for everyone. What debris from industry, trade, or home life is found washed up on the mud banks of the Thames? What does it tell us about the city?
There's a lot of insurance and stock papers. Some are fresh, others are canceled. We can see how powerful that industry has of speculation has grown and how it's ruining people.
I think there's also a lot of scattered, like broken fishing nets or fishing poles or, like lobster or crab traps. Do they have lobsters and crabs? I'm sure they must have some kind of shellfish in the Thames. Either way, just broken traps for underwater critters, edible critters. Um, and those are pretty prevalent, and I think that there's probably a little cottage industry with mudlarks uh fishing out the fishing nets to repair them and resell them.
I think that's there are a not insignificant number of flower bouquets and like love letters that wash up on on the shores. Things that have clearly been discarded by unrequited or spurred lovers. Um, and yeah, I think it just says that a lot of the people of London are lonely, looking for something to make life a little bit more worth living.
I think we see a lot of chipped uh, ware and vases, things of that nature. Things the rich people, rather than bothering to get repaired, have just chucked into the Thames. Uh, and I think it shows how decadent the aristocracy and the upper class have become.
Excellent. Let's start off with Neve and Call. What are the let's have these preparations first, Call. Uh Describe for us again what it looks like when you perform these rituals. I don't think we've actually seen it yet.
No, he did a quick ritual to deal with the vampire
That's right.
in the previous session. But, so I think Call he's going to slip off one of the rings, and he's going to say, "This should serve well as protection." Uh, he's going to go and he scoops up some of the water, whatever, like the clearest bit that he can find, and he in the palm of his hand with the water he places the ring, and then he drinks the water and swallows the ring at the same time.
All right. Let's have that roll with sensitivity. And I don't think your conditions apply here.
Okay. Do I want to use anything from my corner of the house? No, I don't think any of those things apply. So we'll just go with the roll. 4 with plus my 2 is a 6 total.
Excellent.
So I am. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Let's go ahead and look at
I-
Neve really quickly.
I will be putting on a mask. Just.
Oh yeah. However, I think first, actually, before we jump over to Neve. No, this is good. Actually, never mind. Neve, as you get ready to go into the Thames yourself, you notice that tonight it seems to be rather stormy, and every once in a while, you feel like you can hear ephemeral sobs. However, you are able to transform, don your coat. What do you do as you wait for call?
Banana pose.
Oh, I get it. Seal thing.
Yes. So banana pose is just like, if you ever see a seal just sort of like sunning themselves on a rock and they've got their back arched, but like inverse, so they look like a giant furry banana. They're just really happy and relaxed.
That's great. I love
I
that.
love it.
Let's see. Hornby, remind me, what were you getting up to?
So original plan was to go deal with the Limehouse Lurker. But Amy has pitched something to me, which I'm fine doing potentially, which is we're gonna hit the restaurant first, and then go for the vampire. But I don't know if we're gonna have time to do both.
All right. Then in that case, this is what we see. You enter the Figs Pigs shop, into the front counter specifically. There are a few small tables and chairs, and the smell of grease and burnt flour in the air. There's a plaster statue of a pig in a chef's hat as well. Let's paint the scene, everyone. How do we know this was a popular pie shop when it was open?
When it was open. Okay, but it's closed now because it belongs to the family, and the family have all.
Because there was human in it, yeah.
Okay, go.
There is so many chairs here, and there's no. So you go to a restaurant, they all have the same kind of chair, but this one has chairs taken from pawn shops and just sort of like shoved wherever there's room for someone to sit up against something looking kind of like a table.
There are scribblings on the walls, but they're not all random crudeness. A lot of them are passing celebrities, dignitaries, the well to do, invited to inscribe their names upon the walls.
I would say that there are probably still the occasional, or scattered around. There's the occasional, I guess not really flyer, but like even back then they still had like newspapers and some things like that. So if an establishment was, you know, particularly prominent or well known or whatever, they might get some press. So I imagine there's probably a few like clippings here and there, kind of scattered around.
I think the till, a lot of the keys have been worn for how often it was used.
Excellent. You see this in this area and looking around, you're also aware of a interesting smell. There's a small trail of what seems to be marmalade leading into the kitchen. What do the two of you do?
Ricky takes a whiff of the air and says, "Well, that smells pleasant." Her fingernails clack uh, against a uh, chair. She has not bothered to wear gloves, put on her contacts, or otherwise take any pains to disguise her fey nature. She also fills out the outfit as well as intended.
Um, I think so. Realistically, I think he is quite distracted by Ricky currently.
Ricky flirts with you, doesn't say anything, but uh, shifts when you are staring at her.
Hornby clears her throat and focuses, and then we'll proceed and follow the trail of marmalade.
Seem terribly distracted today.
It's been a oh.
We have body horror and death and other general things like that as an ask first. Are we all right with that right now?
Yeah.
All right. Hornby, as you walk into the kitchen, the very first thing that you notice is that the trail of marmalade leads to the center counter space. And there is a trussed up corpse with an apple stuck in its mouth. And you can tell that the blood has been drained and replaced with marmalade.
Delicious.
Sounds
I'm going to
tasty.
need you to make the night move. What are you afraid will happen if you lose your nerve here?
Um, I'm afraid that whoever did this is still okay. I hate doing this, because in this case, the worst case scenario for her is something happens to Ricky. So her worry is that whoever did this is still here and will take this moment while she's distracted to harm Ricky.
It's worse than that. There will be two someones here, and they will both attack the two of you.
Let's see.
I think this is going to be with composure, and you don't have any conditions, so I can't put you at advantage. Or at disadvantage, rather.
Okay. I'm gonna mark my shadow lane here. I think she's got it like cis men won't know this, but if you're walking alone at night, you'd like to bunch up your car keys in between your fingers in case you need to punch someone who attacks you. So that's what Hornby is doing with the shadow lane.
By the way, an aside, don't do that. If you're going to attack someone with your keys, hold it in the center, because if they're here and you punch, it's just going to turn and move and not be effective and only hurt yourself. Self-defense tips with Steph. Stab them with the keys. Don't punch them with it. Anyways.
Delightful. All right.
Let's have the roll.
That'll be a 12.
God damn. All right. Sure shot. What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing as Hornby investigates this kitchen situation? Following the marmalade.
I'm going to look for a pantry. Maybe I can find where they got the marmalade for all of this. Maybe I'll learn something more if I see what else is in
All right. So you're going to the kitchen as well then.
it.
Let's paint the scene stuff real quick. Inside of the kitchen, along with the body and marmalade, are bundles of herbs and garlic hanging from the ceiling. There's an enormous brick oven and a light dusting of flour on most surfaces. Let's paint the scene. The figs enjoy working together. What do we see that confirms this?
Personalized oven mitts hanging like Christmas stockings.
So it's in the corner now, but there's little stools for when the boys were younger so they could reach the baking supplies.
Um, there's a there's one of those newspaper paper clippings like on the wall. The headline of which says London's best pie cook or pie chef, um, and has like the name of the probably the proprietor of the place. Um, but it's very clearly like with grease pen been like crossed out, and people have written in like the mom's name or one of the sons' names or whatever, almost like they're you know sort of they're not putting their own names on there, they're writing each other's names like as a sort of a like, oh, you're so good at this type of thing, almost wholesome.
Adorable. Let's have the information move, please, Sure Shot. I think this is going to be with reason, and you're going to be at disadvantage because of drained.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair.
Sorry, was that not a paint the scene? Were we all supposed to do that?
Oh, it was. Did we? Not everyone went, huh?
I think
I realized that
Uh,
as the male cast member, my input is the most important, but it's probably a good
Wow.
idea to
my
hey,
brain.
I'm not the one who cut us off after me. I'm just saying.
All right, yeah. My bad. L for lesbianism today, I guess. uh, anyhow, please the rest of the responses.
Okay. Uh, so the cooking stations are right next to each other, like quote unquote sous chef, prep chef, are all lined up, and they all have carved into the countertop their initials for like each family member.
Mm.
They're so sweet. And then you remember that they make people pie.
Now I feel bad about us eventually destroying these people.
Well, you don't have to destroy them. You can capture them. Uh, anyhow,
We
let's have
rehabilitate them.
that information move.
You ready for that? You ready for that information move? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, if you have anything in your personal quarters that you want to mark to negate the disadvantage, you're more than welcome to.
Don't have anything that I think would apply to this situation.
I mean, you are wearing it.
Yes. Okay. Uh, however, I did just roll and it would not have made a difference.
Oh boy.
So that is a miss, and my reason's at 0, so we are looking at a 4.
Excellent. The unseen. Amy, your prompt, please.
I would love to. Two youths come to blow over a case of whiskey with a couple of bottles still intact. As they push and shove in the slimy mud, come to realize this fight is about more than just the find. After all, one of them has sewn in a patch featuring a hog's head, and another featuring a spider.
That's very interesting. I love the subtle implications of that. All right. Call. You got a 6.
I did.
And I think that what happens here before you mark your mask is nothing. You don't feel your connection to the dark entities that have plagued you, at least for a brief moment. Until then, you do. And a lot. An incredible sense of pressure on your very soul as all of these entities begin swirling around in your periphery. We've missed you. It's been so long since we felt your touch. We don't want to leave ever again. And you can feel the weight of them crushing you down slowly. And you'll take the condition weighted soul, unless, of course, you mark a mask, which you are, I believe.
Yeah, I think I will.
Which mask are you marking?
I'm going to mark the moss-covered gate.
Interesting. Can you read that out for us?
Tell the keeper to put the coven in play. The keeper should immediately frame a scene showing that the coven has arrived in London.
Excellent. Let me pull that up really quickly. The coven.
And I
Oh,
think
we love the coven.
the complication I'm going to take for my ritual is the magic draws immediate unwanted attention. I think that and the coven kind of dovetail well with each other.
I think so too, in fact. All
It's a
right.
question about introducing threats.
What's up?
So I know that there's the normal threats that we have, like the Weaver, but then there's these ones like the Cursed or the Coven when you put them in play. Do they operate like every other threat, or do they have special rules?
I mean, it depends on the threat, really. Any threat kind of operates a little bit different from the other ones, truth be told. But in general, they're just more threats. The main difference is that now you have 4 threats active instead of 3. So it might behoove you to get on that Limehouse situation. Let me. I'm just copying this over really quickly. There we go. The Coven. We'll go over the specifics in a moment. But for now, I think, Call, as you're calling on these powers, you feel something you haven't felt in quite a long time. You feel someone, no, multiple someones reaching out feeling around for your sort of brand, if it were, of energy, and you feel them latch on. And in that moment, you feel them work their wicked magics on you. They cast a hex, the hex of tongue. You cannot speak. I'm giving you the condition. That's, yeah, fine. Tongued.
So is that from the complication on the ritual, or is that part of just the covenant?
That's your ritual.
Okay.
Is the
So
unwanted and unwelcome attention. Is the coven showing has arrived somewhere in London,
okay.
found your sort of magical signature, and using that as you're trying to connect with the rest of the stuff, hit you with a spell in that brief instant.
Not to nitpick, but one of the other complications I could have picked is you take a condition. I specifically didn't take that because I don't want to be at 3 conditions. If you
Oh,
want to
I
stick with
see.
this,
There it
that's
is.
fine, but I was really kind of going for the attention more so than the condition, if
Okay.
that's possible.
No, thank you for pointing that out for me.
Yeah.
In that case, then I think
And if you want to just stick with the condition because that's going to help things flow better, that's fine. It's just
no, that's all right.
just negotiating a little. That's all. Because me no like E3 conditions.
I think that there's a knock on the door of Hargrave House. And after a few moments, a voice. Hello? Call. Are you home? We know you are. Please open up. We'd like to talk with you.
My initial thought was that was Hagatha who like found calls like address. She suddenly became like really clingy. I think the coven. I think that's worse. The implication of that is worse. But all right. Well, now
It's
that I
worse
know
than
what
that.
to make of.
Hagatha's part of the coven.
Oh God, you know what? Actually, from a narrative perspective, that would be amazing.
It would be very silly. But you are able to breathe in underwater and perhaps not even contract awful diseases from it. Congrats.
I was hoping that would be bundled in because I know how bad the
Oh
TENS
yeah,
is, but
it is. Don't worry.
okay. I was like, I do not want to have to roll with vitality to avoid all that stuff. So, all right. Yeah, and then at that point, I will turn to Neve and I'll again offer my elbow and say, "Shall we?" And gesture out to the water.
Or
Oh wait, are you in seal form?
yes.
Oh, whatever.
That's why I said banana pose. That'd be
That
very
makes sense
awkward to
now.
do as a human.
I
Spines
thought
don't
so,
bend
but I
that
was like,
way.
I'm not. Maybe weird silky things. Oh, that's
Uh,
fine. He'll still offer.
yeah, so Dave will just sort of seal bark back, um, and lead him into the water, just doing the little weird little seal hop thing.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Coven in full now. The Coven. Oh, wait. Hold on. Never mind. It says something else. Interesting. So, not that then. Do that in the next session. Anyhow, there are people at Fargrave House, and none of you are there. And Neve, can do a little bit of moonlight upon the waves. Actually, it is getting close to our session time, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to go over tonight. So, would you all mind terribly if we go to Stars and Wishes a little bit early? Well, not early, but
No, that's
uh,
totally fine. We can put a
if we end in the
bookmark in
middle.
this and
You mean if we end on time?
Yeah, yeah. Instead of
How
going over to do
dare
a night
you?
phase.
but
How
it
dare
also
you?
gives us time to collaborate in the Discord on where we want the story to go from here.
Mm-hmm. All right, then in that case, uh, let's go ahead and go to our outro. Lovely players, if you would please once again let us know who you are, who you played, and any socials or anything else that you'd like to plug, then please afterwards give us your stars and wishes.
I'm Amy, pronouns she, her. I played Richard Dick Dashing, aka Sure Shot, and also now aka Ricky. You'll be seeing me on Tuesdays running Community Spirits, the Wraith the Oblivion game of ghosts versus gentrification. I'm going to give my stars and wishes now. So, Ben, I loved the part where Call just kept eating the meat pie after he realized it because he didn't want it to go to waste. I thought a star for the ritual that I thought was cool, and also just a star for being sweet to my character when they were uncomfortable. I thought that was very nice.
I mean, Call doesn't want the people who died for that meat pie to have died in vain. So.
Oh my god. Uh, a star for Rachel. I really only caught like the tail end of this, but the part where I came back and Neve was crying, something about Call can't go into seal form. I wish I'd saw the first half of it. I don't know what it was about,
We
but
got the video on demand as soon as this wraps.
it was hilarious and so sweet. I love those sweet moments.
Thank you.
Uh, of course, I loved Aaron's actions of Hornby making Ricky's life difficult with like, oh no, it's your only outfit. Oh, we're gonna take a little detour here. Just so terribly mean. And on a similar note, kind of the same for Steph. I was just gonna say that I liked your recitation of the poem. I thought your delivery of that was great with some of the difficult rhymes. But I also just appreciated um, how you took every turn to make my character's life more difficult during this session as they were to be. Um, my my wish, just my anxiety talking Cthulhu. And Aaron always says that she's got me covered in this one, but like, don't kill off my character next session. It's night phase, and I've got 3 conditions, and I feel like I put my
You,
character in a bad position without thinking about it.
we have 3 like group masks, and you have your own mask. You're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can't be killed unless you let yourself be killed.
What does happen when you gain a 4th condition?
You
You
mark a
have to
mask.
you have to mark a mask, yeah.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. I've been playing Call Jagged. As always, thank you for being here. We appreciate you chatting and watching and supporting us. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it at that. So, stars. I have to parrot what Dick said about Neve, which is the not necessarily breakdown, but the kind of hysterical. Like, I wish you had a coat, like a silky coat, was just super cute and very out of the blue. Not where I expected that conversation to go, but it was very sweet and very much in keeping with Neve's cinnamon bun nature. Hornby, just the absolute vitriol that you held towards Call at the moment is always fun to interact with. I really cannot wait until the two of us get a. I don't think we've done. Yeah,
We've not done a vulnerable move together at all. No.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, looking forward to that. Dick, I love the leaning into the dress and the Ricky persona that was inflicted upon you by Hornby. Also, just for the dress itself.
Thank you.
And Steph, thank you for being flexible with the ritual complication there. I appreciate you hearing what I had to say and being open to adjusting things. It's very good GMing. Wishes. I wish I hadn't rolled a 6. But that's about all I've got. Everything else was great. So
Fucking me here being like, why do I keep rolling so good?
yeah, you're stealing all the 12s. What the hell?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Hi. Is that it for you, Ben?
I'm done.
Okay. Hi everyone, I am Aaron. Pronouns she, they, fae. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu in some fashion, except Twitter. Fuck that place. I played Hornby tonight, pronouns she, her. Yeah, you can next see me literally tomorrow at the same time, same place. We will be doing the second half of our Dune finale, and I think that's probably where we're going to be ending for that particular season. I don't think we're gonna have a part 3. But yeah, that'll be fun. And then Tuesday, you'll find me here again, playing. I think. Oh, I'm gonna forget the time. I'm bad. 6:30 Pacific.
I believe that is correct. Yes.
Okay. So 6:30 Pacific. Here again, playing Wraith 20th. I'll also be producing for that. Exciting. And I think that's it for my stuff where you can see me. I mean, I'll be playing the Between with Steph again on Mondays very soon, which I'm excited about.
Not sure if that one's streamed or recorded or anything.
I don't think Chaotic said nothing about it, so I'm presuming no.
Probably not. But yeah.
But I'm excited to play with Steph as a player. It'll be my first time playing with Steph as a player, both of us players, because it's been GM and GM every time.
So it has.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. Anyways, stars and wishes. I'm just gonna go in order of my Zoom cameras here. Rachel, I'm also gonna parrot everyone. The breakdown. I'm gonna use this pun deliberately. Blubbering scene. I thought that was just choice RP on your behalf. It made me feel very bad for Neve. And
did you just make a seal blubbering joke?
I did, yes.
Very well done. Very well done. Thank you.
Listen, you know who my partner is. Some of her pun ability rubs off on me.
That's true.
That's not the only thing that's rubbing off pants grab. Anyways. Yeah. Also, I liked the notion of going to the Weaver to repair your pellet ratio. I thought that was good. I liked that bit as well. For Amy, I loved the outfit, of course, is wonderful. I literally joined Zoom and started laughing the second I saw her because I was like, of course she has a maid dress. Of course she does. In game, I loved our vulnerable move. I thought you did a Kabadon, which is one of my favorite things ever. Um, just a little shove up against the wall slap. Always love that. Uh, for Steph, I love that creepy little vampire so much. So much so that I'm probably going to take a certain move and not kill the vampire.
Nice.
But we'll see how that plays out. Um, I also loved your snotty little school kid voice. That was delightful. It was very great. For Ben, I will also pair at the opposite end of loving that Call just deliberately antagonizes Hornby every time. Like the only one I think like Neve and Richard have not clocked what's going on there. But Call and Hornby know what's going on. And I love that dynamic for us. It's great. I am looking forward to the eventual vulnerable move. I will remind you that you have to be the one to ask for it, though. I can't. Mechanically, I
Oh,
can't.
that is a good point. Thank you for
Yeah,
reminding me of that because
yes,
I'd
I'm
forgotten.
yes, I can only ask Richard for vulnerable moves. So wishes. I fucking wish I'd stop rolling 12s. I wanted to mark a goddamn mask of the past tonight, and I fucking didn't. Again, 2 weeks in a row, not a single mask marked. It is maddening when you want to mark masks and you can't. I can't even upgrade a 12. What am I supposed to fucking do? Can I downgrade this roll with the mask stuff? Anyways, that's it for me.
Uh, all right. In that case, then, first off, thank you for the raid, Rolling Nomads, and thank you for the follows, Starheart Dragon and the Azure Butterfly. We're creeping up on 300 follows, which is super fucking exciting. So thank you for all of that. Um, but yes, my name is Rachel. You can find me, Stolen Fires, pretty much everywhere on the internet, especially here on this Twitch channel. I also finally updated our YouTube. Hooray! So all the playlists and such are updated and refreshed and public and all that fun stuff. And then, yes, as was implied earlier, we've got two shows debuting next week. I'm really excited. We have Amelia Fetch, who's going to be running Wraith 20th Anniversary Edition Community Spirits. It's a really solid cast for that. I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone how that dynamic unfolds. I'm also looking forward to Tales from the Loop, which debuts on Wednesday with our friend, the Drunken Storyteller. Apart from that, you can also find us playing Fringeworthy on Mondays. That is run by our friend Dr. Fusion. Yes, you are also a solid cast too, Alice. Hey. Um, so that just started their second season. It's very, very good. Uh, yes, Mondays. And then this Friday, not only is it the global release of Dune, it is also the finale of season 4 of our Dune Adventures in the Imperium game. Uh, there's shit going down in the Rod. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't think Eric, the ST, knows how it's going to end, but it's going to be exciting, and so that starts tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. I don't know what that is in your time zone. You do the math. Um, but yeah, follow me on Blue Sky for updates. You can also follow us on the Discord. I will post the link momentarily, but as far as my stars and wishes, um Ben, I had a really great scene with you as me just having like it's a land shark, I don't know what to do. And I feel bad for running away. Um you handled her very well. I appreciate that. Um Also, Amelia, the way that you just sort of fell into the role of Richie was really fun to watch, and then also Hornby's subtle, not so subtle jealousy, also fun to watch. Um, so those are my stars. I just really like all the weird interpersonal dynamics. As far as wishes, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing a cinnamon roll. I feel like her scene with Call was enough to push her to start, adapting, growing up, uh, figuring out how to actually function. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm just excited for next week and seeing what happens.
Thank you all so much. I'm Steph. I use she, her pronouns. I've been the keeper. And excuse me, I have a couple of projects that I'm working on. The main one is Site 42, which is another card from Brindlewood game that I'm working on, inspired by SCP and Control, things along those lines. Uh, there's not really too much about it quite yet. I'm still waiting on a couple of things to go through before doing too much more with that, but it's still in the works. I'm also going to be probably a little bit sooner than more Site 42 stuff comes out. I'm going to be releasing a mystery for public access on Drive Through RPG, as well as a uh, handful of Odyssey tapes. You'll be able to find those in probably a couple of weeks. You just look up Steph Infection on Drive Through RPG. You'll probably see some stuff there from me. But as far as my stars and wishes, I really had an excellent time this session. I felt a little bit off today, just in general. It's been a rough day. Uh, so I'm glad that everything worked out so well. I really enjoyed all of the vulnerable scenes. It's a lot of fun getting to see all of you like really flex your improv and role play muscles with those, because I don't really have say in those. I'm just a part of the audience like everyone else. So it's really cool to have those moments. And uh Star for Drea for that fucking incredible pun just now on my name. Love that. Antibiotic is so good. It's my pole dancing name now. uh anyhow, uh for specifically for Rachel, I really enjoyed seeing how much Neve has matured in just like a couple of sessions from the last time that we saw her interact with the Weaver. She was very impassioned, if not still a little underlined scared. But seeing that then evolve into this complete like nonchalantness of like, okay, yeah, you're behaving, so I'm behaving. I really enjoyed seeing that. It's very interesting because like you could still kind of feel some of that distrust in the way that Neve was a little bit more curt with the Weaver than she has been any other character so far. Uh, which I thought was a really nice and subtle detail there. For Amy, I absolutely adore how you handled the whole situation with the maid outfit and rolling with all of the punches that I kept throwing at you. I really enjoyed the whole like cat scene. That's a moment in the mystery that I haven't really seen used a whole lot in actual plays, mostly because it's a little weird and hard to fit in places, but it made perfect sense in that moment.
I really liked that moment because it was surreal, and I also got an opportunity to be sweet and kind.
Yeah, it was great. I loved the response. Uh, for Aaron, I absolutely adore how fucking devious Hornby is. Hornby is maybe a fae in and of herself. Let's be real. She can practically teleport. She's always playing little tricksy jokes. Invades people's dreams to steal things.
I forgot the part where she revealed, oh yeah, I've got Master Dashing's outfits back in my closet.
Yeah, that was great. I'm not convinced that she's not just like big Pixie. Pixie got hit with a inverse shrink ray, a big ray.
A big C, if you will.
Real.
Yeah. So we got rated twice tonight by Onyx Path and Rolling Nomads. Thank you both. I want to pay that forward, so we're gonna be rating on recommendation Persephoroth.
I do still have one more, a
Oh,
little bit more to go.
I apologize. Continue.
It's all good. Ben, I really appreciate you calling me on that. I completely spaced looking over the other options to make sure that I wasn't hitting one that you had specifically not chosen. So I appreciate you telling me that and giving me the opportunity to correct it. I also really enjoyed the like retroactive. That's the word I was looking for earlier. The retroactive vulnerable scene. I really enjoy when players start to feel comfortable enough with the narrative and the power that they have to influence it when they feel comfortable enough to do those retroactive or time skips in general are pretty, I think, significant indicators of comfort in this sort of thing, because you're now starting to get it to a point where you can call on those things and you can believably and narratively justifiably frame that up and get it all done. So I think it really indicates a level of mastery over the system. So I'm very excited to see that. As far as wishes go, I'm super stoked for the Coven. I'm excited that you all have 4 mysteries active at once, even though it might not end up being that way for long. It's still very interesting. Yeah, that's all for me.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you, Steph, for running. Let's get that raid underway. And we will see you all back here next week. So, goodbye, everybody.
Hey, everyone.